And on your Idaho To Do, we have something very, very special, especially if you are a fan of Jim Henson's Labyrinth. Get ready because the magic is coming to Boise. The iconic 80s film starring David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly is getting a live-to-film concert experience, blending the movie with a live band playing its legendary soundtrack at the Egyptian Theater this Tuesday. So joining us to share us all the details, we have producer John Kinsner. John, so good to have you. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and where are you joining us from today?
From right now my home office in Los Angeles.
Marvelous. Okay, great. So you'll be here really soon. Looking so forward to this performance. All right, so live to film concerts. I have to say, I've attended a couple of these for different films. Why do you think they're becoming such a popular part of our in-person entertainment?
You know, I think largely, people that were born in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s spend a lot of time with this content and love going back to revisit films and shows and video games that they either grew up with or currently are loving. And so going out and experiencing these and celebrating these pieces, these properties and these pieces of IP in a new and unique way that's kind of feels like a con, but also is a concert, and gathering together with a bunch of like-minded people to celebrate the same thing is just an intoxicating experience.
I agree, totally intoxicating, right? It's a bit of nostalgia. It's kind of that playfulness, like you'd say, almost like some kind of con. People dress up for these events, which is just a part of the fun in itself. You're reliving some of your childhood favorites, but yet you're getting that in-person experience and that bonding opportunity too, like you said, with those like-minded people. Kind of checks all those boxes. All right, let's talk about Labyrinth, though. This has been a massive cult film since it first came out in the 80s. I mean, very transparently, John, I was a huge fan as a kid.
Oh, same.
My goodness, there are just so many songs in this movie. This scene in particular, you remind me of the Babe with the Power. What power? Power of voodoo, hoodoo, right? Like, I could go through that whole thing in my head. So why, though? Why Labyrinth for you?
For me, I've worked in the film concert space for a long time, and really came into my own right as a producer in this space. And one of the guys that I have always looked up to and have always admired was Lou Adler. And what Lou Adler did with the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and midnight screenings and people coming out and celebrating it, I really felt that Labyrinth could be something very similar. And as I went along, I'd worked on The Nightmare Before Christmas in concert, and Ghostbusters in concert, and Goonies in concert.
Oh, yes.
I just couldn't kick the idea that this could be like us millennials and the millennial version of something like Rocky Horror, where we come out and there's a band, and much like Rocky Horror, there is some amazing saxophone moments in Labyrinth. And so I just couldn't kick that idea. And once we got kind of an idea together, and I went to Sony and I went to Henson and pitched it, everybody jumped on board.
Oh, that's marvelous. Okay, so you yourself, though, been a fan for a long time too, right?
Oh, big time. Born in the 80s, anything Jim Henson kind of ruled that era. So whether it was like Fraggle Rock or Dark Crystal or Labyrinth. And Labyrinth was also like my introduction to David Bowie.
Oh my goodness, right? Absolutely. Like David Bowie, complete icon. Okay, so Boise audiences, this is probably going to be our first time experiencing Labyrinth in this type of setting. So what can we experience when you come to town? Tell us what to expect.
I mean, it's the most fantastic way of celebrating this film. And so when everybody comes out, you're immediately amongst a bunch of friends, almost, an extended family. People are coming in costume. The band is fantastic. We have limited edition licensed merchandise items through Henson.
Oh, wow.
And the fact that we're at the Egyptian, I love that. I love it so much because originally, as everybody knows, it was a movie theater.
Yes.
And this format is a little bit of a tip of the cap back to the original way that movies were screened in the silent film era with a live organ or a live pit band. And so it feels very connected to the entire lifespan of cinema and film. And when we get to do this in old movie houses, those are my absolute favorite places to do it.
I love that, kind of a nod to the history that established that venue in itself. That's beautiful.
That's right.
All right, so how are fans reacting to this experience, though? Kind of give us a little taste, maybe a couple of your favorite stories so far.
My favorite stories have just been the groups that are coming out. There's a lot of people of our age that are coming out in friend groups. But one of the most wonderful things also is when you see in the theater this film being passed along generationally. So it's parents and kids, or like the cool aunt or uncle taking their niece or nephew out. They're all dressing up, they're getting their popcorn, they're singing along and dancing in the aisles. And in the way that I experienced Rocky Horror when I was a kid, I feel like fans of today are experiencing Labyrinth in that same way.
All right, and really quick, what's your favorite song?
Oh, my favorite song, personally, is "As the World Falls Down."
Yes, that's a great song.
But they're all phenomenal,
They
and
are.
the opportunity to hear them live with Bowie's actual voice singing them is really just a dream come true, I think, for most fans of this film.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, where can people go so they can get all the information they need for the upcoming show and make sure that they're participating in reliving, being nostalgic, and maybe even connecting their children to an awesome experience?
So you can find us at labyrinthinconcert.com, and we'll direct you to the appropriate ticketing page right from that website, or on Instagram at Labyrinth in Concert.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And again, you can also go to the website right there at the bottom of the screen as well. John, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate your time and looking forward to seeing the show here in town.
We can't wait. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, you take care. Bye-bye. And